My cousin insists my daughter is rightfully his because he introduced me to my wife. I was changing my daughter's diaper when my cousin Garrett walked into the nursery without knocking and said, "We need to discuss custody arrangements." I thought he was joking. He wasn't smiling. He was holding a manila folder, the kind lawyers use. His eyes had this glazed certainty that made my stomach drop. "Custody of what?" I asked, lifting my 18-month-old daughter off the changing table. "Of Lily," he said, pointing at her like she was property. We were negotiating over. "She's mine by right of introduction. I brought you and Rachel together, so biologically and morally, Lily belongs to me. I'm prepared to go to court if necessary, but I'd rather we handle this reasonably." I stood there holding my daughter, her tiny hand wrapped around my finger. Couldn't process what I was hearing. This was Garrett, my cousin, the guy who'd been my best man, who'd held Lily at her baptism, standing in my house, in my daughter's nursery, telling me he owned my child because he'd introduced me to my wife at a barbecue 3 years ago. I'd known Garrett my whole life. We grew up 2 houses apart in Millbrook, spent every summer riding bikes, every winter building snow forts. He was more like a brother than a cousin. When we were kids, we were inseparable. He introduced me to Rachel at his Memorial Day barbecue 3 years ago. She was a friend of his girlfriend at the time, a woman named Nicole. Rachel was beautiful, funny, smart, everything I'd been looking for. We hit it off immediately. Within 6 months, we were engaged. Within a year, we were married. Garrett gave a toast at our wedding about how he'd always known we were perfect, how he'd orchestrated the whole thing, how he deserved credit for our happiness. Everyone laughed. It was charming then, felt like a joke. Looking back now, I realize he wasn't joking. He'd been building this narrative from the beginning, brick by brick, claim by claim, until he genuinely believed my wife and child were his by proxy. "Get out of my house," I said quietly, stepping between him and Lily. He didn't move, just opened the folder, pulled out a stack of papers. "I've been documenting everything since before Lily was born. Every time I helped you move furniture, every time I watched her so you could go to dinner, every time I bought her clothes or toys. I have receipts, photos, text messages where you thanked me for being such a great uncle. I've been building a case for parental involvement based on my foundational role in creating your family unit." He held up a photo of himself holding Lily at Christmas. "A judge will see I've been more present than most biological fathers. Combined with my introduction clause, I have a legitimate claim." Introduction clause. He said it like it was real, like it was an actual legal term, like introducing 2 people at a party gave you ownership rights over everything that came after. "Garrett," I said slowly, trying to keep my voice steady, "for Lily's sake, you need to leave right now. We can talk about this later, but you need to leave my house." He smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the smile of someone who thought they'd already won. He left, but only after making sure I understood he was serious. "I'll give you 48 hours to think about shared custody. After that, I'm filing paperwork. And Ethan, I'm not trying to take her away completely. I just want what's fair. I made your family possible. I deserve to be recognized as her co-parent." Then he was gone. I locked the door behind him, stood there holding Lily, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might break through my chest. Rachel was at work. I had 2 hours before she got home. I needed to figure out what to do. I called my brother first. "He's lost his mind," Daniel said, when I explained what happened. "You can't introduce 2 people, then claim ownership of their kid. That's not how anything works." But the thing was, I could hear uncertainty in his voice, like maybe he wasn't completely sure, like maybe there was some obscure law Garrett had found that made this possible. I hung up, called a lawyer. Attorney Rebecca Hartman's office was downtown, a small 2-room suite above a coffee shop. She'd handled our home purchase, our wills, basic stuff. She was in her 50s, practical, no nonsense. When I explained why I needed to see her immediately, there was a long pause on the phone. "Come in right now," she said. "Don't wait until tomorrow." I dropped Lily off with Rachel's mother, drove to Rebecca's office. She was waiting for me, door already open. "Sit," she said, gesturing to the chair across from her desk. I sat. She folded her hands, looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. "Tell me exactly what he said, word for word if you can remember." I told her everything, the custody arrangement comment, the manila folder, the documentation he claimed to have, the introduction clause, the 48-hour ultimatum. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Then she leaned forward. Her expression shifted to something that made my blood run cold. "This is worse than I thought." Full story is linked below or on my channel.